Hold on to your hats because what I'm about to tell you could completely change everything. The Dodgers might be on the verge of making a move that solidifies this dynasty for years to come. Right now, and I'm not exaggerating, Los Angeles is deep in negotiations for the best reliever in all of Major League Baseball. The front office is targeting the one arm capable of erasing the only real weakness this team showed last season, that bullpen that nearly cost everything in October. If this deal happens, the entire league is going to lose their minds. This could be the move that slams the door on every rival, shuts down every late inning collapse, and turns the Dodgers into an unstoppable postseason machine. I'm breaking down what's happening behind the scenes, why this reliever is exactly what LA needs, and how close this blockbuster move really is. Let's get into it. The big question right now is, what does the Devin Williams signing with the Mets mean for the Dodgers? How does that impact Los Angeles? It absolutely does in several different ways, because the Dodgers are certainly in the market to sign a reliever and bolster a bullpen that needed starting pitchers to carry the load in the postseason. We've already established there's zero chance Roki Sasaki becomes a closer next season unless things completely fall apart. Brandon Gomes already confirmed they want to see if he can be that elite starting pitcher he has the potential to be. So forget about Sasaki closing games. Who's the best available now? The biggest name is still out there. And the rumor right now is that the Dodgers are among the favorites to sign EDWIN DIAZ. This comes from an extremely reputable source, Anthony DiComo, who's the Mets beat writer for MLB.com. He did an AMA on Reddit and was asked about EDWIN DIAZ and what the Devin Williams signing means for New York's closer situation. Here's what DiComo said, and this is crucial. I've been consistent from the start of this offseason in saying I'll believe David Stearns will pony up huge money for a reliever when I see it. That's not necessarily saying Stearns won't re-sign Diaz. It's just an acknowledgement that doing so would break from what's appeared to be a career-long philosophy. Don't invest too much money in relief pitchers regardless of who they are. Tack on the fact that Stearns has already demonstrated a willingness to be unsentimental, and it becomes clear to me that re-signing Diaz is no sure thing. Then he dropped this bomb. If everything I write above is true, I'd have to consider the Dodgers the favorite to grab him if for no other reason than they are the Dodgers. Now, he's not basing that off insider information from agents or team executives. He's essentially saying that if Stearns sticks to his principles and doesn't believe in paying massive money for relievers, doesn't typically go into that $80 to $100 million range for a closer, then the Mets won't be operating at the top of the market. And that's where EDWIN DIAZ is right now. So who's a team that's willing to do that? Who needs a top-level closer? The Los Angeles Dodgers check both boxes. There aren't many teams out there willing to fork over 4 years and $80+ million for a reliever, but the Dodgers certainly are. Now, does this mean Diaz has fallen into LA's lap? Not necessarily. The Mets saw value in Devin Williams because his market probably wasn't as big as it could have been after a down year. If Williams had been dominant all season, he'd be looking at $80 to $100 million. The Mets grabbed him at good value, which tells you something about their approach. The Mets need multiple bullpen arms. They were 10th or 11th in bullpen performance, even with Diaz having an outstanding season. So you need multiple guys if you really want to contend. But for the Dodgers, the big question is simple. Are you willing to drop $80+ million on a closer? Are you willing to do what you did with Tanner Scott, operating at or near the top of the reliever market? And here's the thing, some Dodgers fans are hesitant because they got burned by Tanner Scott last year. He really struggled after the trade. That's another reminder of the volatility in the reliever market, how much variance exists even for guys coming off great seasons. Personally, I think Scott's going to have a massive bounce back because the velocity and movement profiles were still in line with when he was elite. But for this conversation, the question is whether you want the top-level guy. Looking at who's remaining, how much is it worth to pay $50 to $60 million more to have EDWIN DIAZ as your tried-and-true elite? Closer versus spending less money on Robert Suarez, going even cheaper for someone like Kenley Jansen or Pete Fairbanks. There's been no report the Dodgers are interested in Fairbanks at all, which to me points to genuine interest in Diaz. Think about it from a big picture perspective. The Dodgers just won back-to-back World Series titles. There's no starting pitcher available. You're going to sign for $200 or $300 million because that's not your biggest need. Are you going to get Kyle Tucker unless it's a high AAV shorter deal? Probably not. So why not spend big and get a reliever who's a game changer, someone who eliminates the need to dip into your starting pitching in the postseason? This is about the three-peat. This is about maximizing Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, Teoscar Hernandez, Will Smith, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Tyler Glasnow, Blake Snell. Even if you pay Edwin Diaz 80 to 100 million, which freaks some people out, you have to view it through the right lens. I see Dodgers fans saying, don't pay a reliever that much. We got burned with Tanner Scott. Why touch the fire again? That's not how you should view Edwin Diaz. If you bring him in on, say, 4 years, 82 million, and for 2 of those 4 years, he's getting huge saves in the postseason, dominating in the World Series, helping you maintain the best regular season record for home field advantage, and you win championships, those first 2 years are worth 41 million each. The back-end years become the cost of doing business. Look at how you view Mookie Betts' contract. There's 235 million left on that deal. 260 million left on Yamamoto, 560 million left on Ohtani with deferrals, 83 million left on Will Smith, 104 million left on Blake Snell. Are you thinking about the back end of those deals? No, but you tend to think more about the back end of reliever deals just because they're shorter contracts compared to these massive position player and pitcher deals. If I haven't made it abundantly clear, I want to see Timmy Trumpet at Dodger Stadium and Edwin Diaz running out of those gates. This is the move they should make. This is the guy they should sign. How good is Edwin Diaz still? He's 31 years old right now, turns 32 next season. We know what happened in the World Baseball Classic in 2023 when he tore his ACL celebrating. Then 2024 wasn't great, a 3.52 ERA, second highest of his career, but the strikeout to walk ratio was still good. Then in 2025, he had an absolute bounce-back season and was elite Edwin Diaz once again. Last season, he threw 66 and 2/3 innings with 28 saves and a 38% strikeout rate. He's averaging 97.2 on the heater, which isn't quite the 99 he used to throw, but still elite. His 18% swinging strike rate was 4th best among the 287 pitchers who threw at least 60 innings. He's right up there with Mason Miller, Aroldis Chapman, Griffin Jax. He's still elite, and this is the move to solidify a bullpen that needs true firepower. If you think the Dodgers are going to win the World Series again relying on multiple complete games from starters who've pitched heavy innings, that's unrealistic. Why not go get the best available? The Dodgers don't need to pinch pennies. They don't need to settle for the number 2 or 3 option. Get the best reliever you can get. Looking at his advanced metrics, it's like a murder scene of red on the percentile charts. Expected ERA in the 90th ninth percentile. Expected batting average 99th percentile. Whiff percentage 99th percentile at 41.5%. Strikeout rate 99th percentile at 38%. He misses barrels at an elite rate and gets ground balls. Edwin Diaz would be the best closer the Dodgers have had potentially since peak Kenley Jansen. You get to supplement and solidify a bullpen group that's pitched a ton of innings. The Mets didn't make a deep playoff run last year, so Diaz is fresh. He's ready. He wants to win a championship. Give me Edwin Diaz as the top target. It's still a negotiation, obviously, but what I like about the Dodgers' chances is this. They have the money, they have the need, and they have the championship window. If Edwin Diaz, one of the most electric and intimidating relievers on the planet, walks into Dodger Stadium wearing Dodger blue, that could be the final piece that locks in the three-peat. That's the move that tells the rest of baseball this dynasty isn't slowing down anytime soon.